So hello, this is Eric. Here we are in front of my, well, it's quite a customized Tahoe 2004. I love this car and model. It's a four-wheel drive, as you can see here. So what this video is about how to adjust the steering. The steering of this vehicle got so sloppy. It was not only difficult to drive, it was dangerous to drive. And as this vehicle has got a widened track with wheel extenders and very wide tires, 275 tires, when I get into a big pool of water during a storm, which happened a few days ago, the car tends to pull very violently to the left or to the right, depending on where the water is. So because of the huge play in the steering wheel, and because it's very loose, it's essentially impossible to drive the car, and it's actually quite frightening. I want to remind a few of you of something somebody told me who had a Corvette, and his license had been taken away for manslaughter because he told me himself he had a very loose steering, which seems to be more of a GM problem, actually. I had an accident with a Corvette as well, hitting water on the highway when it spun very violently to the left and actually spun around 180 degrees at about 70 miles per hour. And so I was driving backwards at 70 miles per hour because of, and this time it wasn't because of a slack in the steering wheel. It was simply because it pulled to the left, and this Corvette was stock, so it had wide tires, but it was stock, and it seems to be a GM matter, actually. So if any of you has problems with GM vehicles pulling violently to the left when they hit water on the left, or on the right when they hit water on the right, please mention it, because I think it's an issue. I've had I've had all kinds of cars, Ford, BMWs, Ford vans, and Grand Cherokees, and none of these actually showed this tendency to veer violently to the left or right when it hit water. So if that's the case for you, please mention it in this chat so we know about it. So what we're going to see now is how to solve this problem. In fact, it could be a lot of things. It could be the whole steering setup. I mean, we're starting with the steering. So here's the steering wheel. So we'll move to the inside of the vehicle. There's not much light, but I hope you will see it. So the steering column, here's the steering column. So one guy mentioned that if you can move the steering column, which is here, if you can move the steering column, that means there's slack. This is bullshit. First of all, when the engine is stopped, to have slack in the steering column, in the steering wheel, is absolutely normal. It's only when you start and it gets pumped up with the hydraulic pump that you will feel whether there's slack or not. So what you look here, what you want to see is whether the steering is moving or not. You see? So if it's moving as you move with your hand here, then that part shouldn't be the problem. But you have to check it, okay? There are three parts. There's the forward steering column. There's the middle steering column, this one here, which gets into the hydraulic pump over there. Okay, so now this is what we're really looking for here. This screw. Here's the alternator. Here's the battery. There's no need at all to remove the battery or any of that shit. I mean, I've seen so many bad videos. I mean, the worst videos, in fact, were of guys just basically telling that you had this problem and then telling how you could solve it, and not even showing it. So here, what you see here is basically this this is the axle that adjusts the play in the steering column. So this is an Allen, could be also another type of key, and there's a counter locking nut that is about 5/8 in inches, and so inside goes an Allen, which is in inches as well. I tried metric and that didn't work, so I don't know the exact size here. I've got it here, but I don't know the size. What we'll see now is this counter nut. This is very, if it's the first time it's being opened, it's going to be tough, believe me. And it's not because it's a tough job, it's just tough getting at it. It's so deep inside here. The best way I found is from the underneath of the vehicle. So I'm going to put, I will put the key on it right now, and the Allen key as well, so that you can see what has to be adjusted. What you want to adjust is the Allen. The counter screw is basically to lock the Allen screw and axle. So when you're going to open this, which is counterclockwise, I'm talking about the big locking nut, then you're probably going to move the axle, or the adjusting axle. So it is, you have to mark it. As you see, I've marked it with, in fact, what I used is nail polish, white nail polish, and I let it dry properly to mark all three: the bases, the counter nut, the locking nut, and the Allen axle, so that any movement I can more or less see how much it moved. But the best is to lock the Allen with the Allen key, the axle, and then once you feel the locking nut is coming loose, make sure that immediately you go on top of the vehicle and check the position and note it. But if you have painted it, you should be able to get it back to its original position. Once the nut is loose, and I'm going to show you that, okay? Then you turn it 1/5 of a rotation clockwise. And I'm talking about the Allen axle. And then you hold it tight, you hold it firm with the Allen key, and then you lock the locking nut, and you start the engine. You will normally, if that is the problem, feel the difference immediately, which is the case here. I came from having a very, very dangerous vehicle to actually having one that now feels pretty firm. So with just 1/4 or 1/5 movement, if you adjust after that and you still feel there's slack, adjust at 1/8 of a rotation every time, very, very steadily, because you can actually damage your steering box if you over tighten it. Okay, so it has to have some slack, so you have to be very careful. So here you can see that I've got the 5/8 inch key into the lock nut, and I've got the Allen key, if you see it's on the left here, into the axle. So I'm not going to move it here. I'm going to show you from beneath how to undo it. So basically you want to lock onto that. The difficult bit, of course, is how do I unlock this thing and not move the Allen key. But the trick really is mark the three very, very well. I mean, the Allen axle and the lock nut and the base of the pump, of the hydraulic steering pump. Just mark them with, like I said, nail polish, white nail polish. That's your best guarantee that you'll be able to adjust it. I have to tighten this, so I'm going to use this as an excuse. I'm going to remove the Allen before it gets lost here. And I'm going to go underneath. So join me underneath the car. It's really the best way. What I used is another key here for leverage. So basically what we're going to do is go underneath. So first I'm going to apply And sorry, I hope you see it. The difficult bit here is my arm. Is just finding it. Okay, so as you see, I'm underneath the car. Here's the wheel actually. So basically I'm behind the radiator. Here's the protection shield. And so I go over the chassis and I feel for the lock nut, which can be, sorry, my arm hurts. That's a pump actually. So 5/8 should fit. So why doesn't it fit? Here it is. Okay. I mean, you know, anybody who's a bit of a mechanic will tell you that fingers have eyes at the end of them, and I can say it's true. So here we go. Okay, to loosen this nut. Okay, now I'm going to, it's not easy, but I'm going to show you. Sorry for all the, I have to find one of my cameras. Okay, let's okay. So basically what you want to do is lock into your key in this way. And of course, one thing that really could help is removing this protective panel. You only really need to remove the top screws, the top bolts, then it will get loose, and then you'll be able to access this. So applying the second key to this one will give you the leverage necessary to unlock it. In this case, I'm locking it, but to unlock it, it really is the only way. And then you'll have to work your way around all of the obstacles with your arms, and you'll become one of these X-Men, you know, the flexible one. And you'll find that you can get really, you're able to find your way around with just your fingers. Actually, you don't need to look. It's better not to look. If you do, always wear eye protection, because there's a lot of dirt falling down when you work like that, and tools as well. So be very careful to protect your face and your eyes. But you'll find that your fingers actually have you can see the pump here, you know, the hydraulic pump. I'm going to tighten it a little bit more, and that's it. That's it. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this helps. So we've adjusted the steering wheel at the pump actually. That's where, but you have to really check all your bearings and the wheel bearings and see if there's any play there. But I changed them. It's been a while, but we have many straight roads here. So I'm going to start the vehicle. Okay, so the trick now is that, wait, I'm going to open the window and we'll turn the wheel. And you can see the tire at the same time. You can also hear it. It reacts immediately. Of course, standing still like that, you won't feel it, but it took a lot away. So now it would take a drive test, and then you move 1/8 of a total rotation of the Allen screw clockwise every time, and don't forget to lock the locking nut every time until you get it fit. But it seems I touched the nail at the right spot, because it really feels nice and tight. I mean, this is not a racing car, so. But anyway, I think there's still a little bit to take up. So, but that's the way to go. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, and see you soon. Bye bye.